I said I wanted to spend more time talking about stuff I really wanted to over here, so here it goes. I want to talk about video game conventions for a second because I just came back from PAX East in Boston. That's one of the biggest video game conventions on the East Coast, and it's so great. I've been going to PAX for 7 years now. God, it feels like forever. I went to my first PAX not knowing a soul, and I had $20 left in my name, and I stayed in a shitty motel outside of town in Boston in like a bad place. And now I have a job talking about video games, and that's great. So I'm kind of always just thankful for PAX, and I have a soft spot in my heart for this convention because it is such a good time, and it's a breath of fresh air every year when you go. It's just reinvigorating, not only for what I do, but just for my passion, my hobby, video games. It really just works for that. And I have to say, and I've been telling this to everyone I meet, if you can once in your life attend a convention or something, especially a video game convention if you're just a gamer, I know they're expensive and sometimes you may not live close to one. If you can go once in your life, you have to go because it's great. And it'll make you appreciate the things you love that much more. There's so much there. There's so many reasons to have fun. I'll get into that, but it's also just, it's a good way to recharge your video game batteries, Not only that, especially PAX East in particular, Boston's great, man. You guys know I am a New York elitist. I love my city more than anything in the world, but Boston comes pretty damn close. I love this town so much. The food is great. The people are kind of crazy, but also good. And plus the fact that PAX is usually at the tail end of the winter means you get a taste of that, New England winter in a city. And I kind of find that charming. I don't know. I also really love Boston food. I love fresh oysters. I love clam chowder. I love all that bullshit. Sign me up, man. Give me all that. But really, going to a video game convention, I've seen a lot of people kind of pause at the fact because they might be antisocial or they don't talk to a lot of people. I myself am actually surprisingly pretty introverted, despite what you might think. And here, it doesn't really, it's weird because everybody's there for the exact same reason you are. They love video games. They're there, there's a shared passion. They might not like the same types of games as you, but they're all there to have the same type of good time that you are. And you'd be surprised how well you can just naturally make friends there. Not only have but I see people just organically meeting up and talking to each other and forging friendships right there, waiting online to see a game, or right on the convention floor, charging their phone, or two people street passing together on 3DS. It's beautiful in action. And seeing all these people doing these things, these video game things that you also love, kind of reminds you that there's a lot of other people out there that are into the things that you are into. And yes, there are shitty dudes, shitty people out there. The world is filled with crappy people, and they are at PAX and video game conventions, but still, overall, the majority, the cynicism of video games, the shit that you read every day, the amount of complaining that we all do about video games, and a lot of it is warranted, it all washes away, and all that's left is just the actual, appreciation for it, That is great. To be in a place with 30,000 people and there's so much less cynicism is awesome. Not only that, there are a lot of things you can get your hands on. There are tons and tons of video games. A lot of times you will get stuck waiting on a bunch of lines, but still, you get to play a lot of cool shit, especially indies. If you're into indie games, even a little bit, it's heightened here because it's just such a good time. There's the indie mega booth. There's so many indie places set up, and it's essentially like a merchant square. It's people hawking their wares. It's people trying to say, hey, come here, check out my game, see what this is all about. And you can play the game, totally get your hands on something that one dude is working on, or a small team, and they're just trying to pitch it to you, and they honestly, genuinely care about what you think and how you feel about their game, and they want you to like it. And I say that makes a big difference too, when you actually meet people that make games. That kind of changes your perspective a little. It's nice. Plus, there's so much else to do just besides roaming the convention floor. There's nightlife, there's parties, if you're down with that. There's also concerts, there's panels, and you can listen to some of your favorite creators of games, or YouTube channels, or Twitch streamers talk about what they do, and some of their favorite things too. And then there's also the game rooms, where you can just walk into a giant room filled with consoles and TVs, and pick up a game, and just start playing it if you want. You can get your hands on the games that you can't usually play. Maybe you don't have have a PC or you can't afford a PC, there's PC Free Play where you can walk up to a PC of great rig and play online LAN with a bunch of people. If you're into board games, I'm not really, but there's tables and tables filled with people playing board games and card games. And going back to the panels and stuff like that, I think if you're trying to do this for a living, if you're trying to be a Twitch streamer, you're trying to be a video game journalist or a YouTuber, or you're trying to make games, public relations, trying to be an artist, you have to come here at least once, sit and listen to a panel, listen to the professionals talk about how they got where they are. Not only that, here is a place where everybody is accessible. You can walk up to someone and introduce yourself and learn from them and see how you can get there yourself. Not only that can you learn from these advice from these pros, but talking to them in person will help you realize that everybody out there is just a person. I'm just a fucking idiot. Everybody's just a normal person doing normal person things. I just think it's incredibly valuable if you're trying to break into something involving video games. And going back, if you're not, it's still just a hell of a lot of fun. I also gotta absolutely thank any of you guys who go to PAX East or who go to PAX West or anywhere and say hi to me. It makes my year, my lifetime. Like just knowing that there are actual people out there that watch what we do, what I do, blows me away, and I'm always so grateful for that. And to have someone actually look me in the eye and do that, it's great. But overall, what I'm saying is that you should go to a video game convention at least once. PAX West, PAX East are the big ones. They're great, but there are plenty more out there. And sometimes even if you live somewhere where you don't think there's going to be one, there might be. You just have to look into it. Like there's Comic-Cons everywhere, in small towns even. Video game conventions are popping up. I'm going to one in Tulsa, Oklahoma this year. Like these things are out there. You can find one. I mean, you might be able to find one, hopefully, if you're lucky. Just try and go to one once in your life because I've loved them. They've kind of saved my life a little bit. So that's all I'm saying. Thanks for listening to me ramble about this stuff. But besides that, I want to talk to you guys down in the comments. If you have gone to a convention or a nerd convention or a video game convention, what is it? Where is it? Some of your favorite moments from it. Tell me. I want to hear this stuff. But you know by now, I'm Jake Baldino. You can find me on social media, all that stuff, and you can subscribe because video games.